said, watch him throw the ball. We gon' pick it up. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through fourth and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to another episode of the Trap or Dive podcast. I'm your host, Trap or Dive, the podcast, Mual, and here with the fellas. AJ and Dre is both in here. Shout out to everybody that's listening and watching live, however which way you are doing so. YouTube, man, I see y'all in the chat. J Tizzy, JB, Rob, Chef Dre, Benz, all of the other viewers. If you're on Twitter, Twitch, I'm sorry, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're on the YouTube side of things. If you are on Twitch and Twitter, man, appreciate y'all checking us out. Audio side, hit that button, hit the follow button. Hit us with a rating review if you can as well. It takes 10 seconds to do so, and it's free to show your support that away. What's up with y'all, man? It has been a little minute, like Jay Tizzy said. How y'all feeling, bro?
I'm about to say AJ done got cool as shit on us since the last time we'd have done a show. The personality glasses, bro.
Yeah, just show them glasses off, bro. You know, he don't
you know, doing a couple little things with the style. You feel me? 2026, new me.
With the Top Golf, bro.
Nah, okay. 2026 is you know, just stepping out a little bit, just trying some new things, creativity. From a creativity standpoint.
Okay.
Yeah, been losing some weight, you know, so I'm getting to get deeper in my little fashion bag while I drink this Tiger Woods.
I respect that, man. Salute, bro. You just started the weight loss journey, or it's been a couple.
It's been over some time or whatever. Just just now
feel good, don't it?
Feel good. Like I've always been like a stylish dude, but it's kind of hard to find clothing in certain sizes that you want. So it's coming into play, looking to lose a bit more.
You got some fresh locks too, fresh little retwist.
Yeah, man. Just you know, with all the cold weather we've been getting and shit, just been cooped up in the crib, you know. And I'm single again, so I'm back on the market, baby. You feel me? So I'm outside. Like
we're gonna be single for a month, bro.
Nah, bro.
Bro, man. Let's hit the strip club. Let's go.
Hey, man. I'm back outside. You did.
Bro.
So, hey, man. Yeah, strip club.
Yeah.
Cartagena, Medellin, Rio.
You go down there.
Yeah, bro.
Nah,
we might as well hit Colombia again, bro. Come on.
I will say though, I was thinking about it a couple days ago. I'm so mad that I went to Madrid in a relationship. Boy, I was on my best behavior out there.
It was terrible. I'm over here bullshitting. I'm bullshitting. I respected what he was saying, but I'm like, bro, come on, bro. You see some fine,
bro. No, like, so I will say before we kick into
I'm talking to the chat. AJ was like, bro, I'm in a relationship, bro. Leave me alone. I'm not doing nothing, bro.
He was serious as shit too.
No, I was dead ass, like, cause I've never cheated before, but boy, like. I mean, they were out there. You feel me? Like, before we get into the real spill of why people here for Trap or Dive, but they was out there in Madrid. Like, it was even some Americans that go to school out there, like university. The first night did scare me out there because it was like after we went from a hookah lounge, we went to a club, and someone in the group brought like some girls to the table or whatever, and for some reason, something in my mind was like, yo, something ain't right with these chicks. You feel me? Like, they're a little green. So I asked Shorty, where you from? She said she from Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Okay, PA.
So I'm like, oh nah, yeah, something ain't right here. Then I was like, nah, because it was like they weren't out there for the game. They said that they were out there because their homegirl lives out there now. So I was like, how old are y'all? They're like 18. I said, get the fuck away from this table, dog. Like, mind you, we got liquor. We got liquor at the table. We just order bottles, all that shit. But out there, like, you could drink at 18, but I still wasn't comfortable with that shit. Like,
we on American rules.
At the end of the day, like, and on top of that, you American, you ain't about to go back home and you attach niggas' names to that shit. Hell nah, dog.
I don't even find I can spot like that age, bro. I don't see I really see 21s under. Like I don't even see that attractive, bro. Like for me, like it's not for me, bro. I need a little older woman.
Yeah, I was like,
granted, 25 is good, but I can see a 21-year-old. I can spot that. I'm like, yo, I ain't bro.
Oh yeah, I could definitely spot that here in the States. Sometimes when you out and about traveling, it's hard to tell. But it's like when I even gotta question it, I don't even approach. I don't even think about it that way. But I will say, like the last night after the game, went to this party called Church on Sunday. Boy, like it's so funny how like the universe,
I heard about
that. How the universe just works. Like just cool people that I met and I knew were going on the trip. They was there, but I met them before I went to church on Sunday, and they happened to be with someone who plays in the league in the NBA, but he was hurt, and he ended up coming out to Madrid. Like me and dude just connected. Man, we was on two mans, but I didn't do anything. Like we was just like playing the bases in the club. That joint, dog, it had so many chicks in there. So yeah, hopefully Commanders running back and play in Madrid. Again, I'm there.
Right, he said he ain't doing nothing on the two mans.
I ain't do nothing. Like when I say two man, like we just
play on NBA Jam.
Like we just politic with the shorties, but we ain't. I wasn't on it. You feel me? I didn't seal the deal.
Go ahead, check that. Check that WhatsApp.
It was cool,
but
nah, I ain't even do the WhatsApp, bro. I was chilling, man. But yeah, all in all, man, I hope everything been good with y'all. You know, we just had Super Bowl on Sunday. All our predictions
outside, bro. Yep.
I mean, I'm not outside here yet. It's way too cold, bro. How y'all been managing with the cold weather?
I hate it. It's literally like one of the. I will never forget this 3 week span, bro. I'll never forget it ever in my life. I'll be 80 years old talking about this 3 week span, bro. It's been cold as shit, bro. Like, and on top of that, I think I really won't forget it because of I got to get up in the morning either to go to work or like I had to take Shorty out. I'll never forget it.
The cold not even the worst part. It's just the fact that none of this fucking ice will go anywhere. Like I'm damn near falling, walking to my car every day, walking to and from the car every day. I just finally got my recycling done because that shit was iced out and I couldn't get.
I still can't move my damn.
I finally did, so I finally got that done, so I can get rid of some stuff in the house. But this has been the worst part. Like I said, the cold. It's whatever. It's winter. I expect it to be cold, but the fact that this ice won't go anywhere, and then you got to drive to work in DC, like in the roads is still messed up, and you got one single lane and traffic is horrible, dog. Like, nah, this been the worst part, man.
Right. I seen on Saturday, bro. It was -9 with the windshield, bro.
Bruh, I seen somebody try to dodge someone in traffic. It ended up on the top of ice, bruh, on the side of the street. Like, well, it actually shouldn't even be a side of the street. It's just really a regular sidewalk. But the way that they plowed the street is like it's now turned into like an obstacle course of ice. Yeah. I was like, bruh, dog, I don't know when it's gonna melt. I know it's supposed to get up to like in the 50s or whatever, but like I don't know if that means we turn the corner. Like I know it's supposed to hit the 50s this week, but bruh, it's been horrible. Like I watched the Super Bowl in the crib by myself, dog. Like I ain't even think about going nowhere. Like, cause I was just like, I stepped out for a little bit. I was like, bruh, it is way too cold. Like, I'm not rocking with it. Meanwhile, I'm seeing people all on my IG in the club.
In the clubs, bro. Watch parties. I'm like, yo.
Watch parties. I'm seeing shorties with crop tops on in the club, the hookah, the drinks flowing. I'm like, man, I'm like, bro, you have to have no life to be outside.
As some of the women at my favorite strip club says, a hoe never gets cold.
That's what I love about hoes.
That's what they told you about themselves.
Hey,
I mean, it's true.
I don't care.
You ever seen them?
Hey, they said it. Once she said that, they said that it's actually famous. It went viral when she said it. I was like, yo, I recognize this street, bro. She outside, bro, in her attire, and it's snow outside.
Are we talking about a stripper or a prostitute?
No, we talking about a stripper. Sometimes.
Why is she outside?
Because she ain't going in yet. She's outside, bro. Just hey, it's like 3 of them, bro.
Cold is a state of mind, bro.
Hey,
she was
man.
good.
He's like, hey, they don't get cold, bro. Once I heard her say that, this was like a decade ago. Once I heard her say that, bro, I was like, you know what?
That's
I see
shit,
it,
bro.
You said crop tops. I'm like, I'm not surprised. That part, I'm not surprised. I'm just surprised, like, yo, it's -5 out here, and y'all just in the club, bro.
Bro, have any of y'all ever been to Camelot?
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, so
you want to join on K Street, right?
yeah, so
Yeah.
back in the day, did y'all ever seen like this like fat white joint in there before?
Bro,
Like when I say back in the day, maybe like eight
probably
8 to 10 years ago.
Nah, it was probably about 15 years ago since I've been. Like, it's been a minute since I went up there.
Bruh, so I went in that joint one time, like 8 to 10 years ago. I got kicked out. Me and this fool Niles Paul. We went there and we decided to throw money at the chicks because that's all that we know, right? They got mad at us and they wanted us to fold the money and give it to them in their hand. But there was this like fat white joint that I'll never forget in my life because I don't think I've ever seen a fat white joint like that in my life. Huh?
Camelot is a strip club.
Yeah, strip club.
But you can't.
Yeah, but it's mostly like you can't. It's like real political in there. Like it definitely be like executives and people part of Congress and senators, all that in there. But it looked like she was not supposed to be there because like her body, she was built like a black woman, and
Like
it was
natural. Stadium.
It was natural. Yeah, like she belonged in a stadium.
Like she was built like in a good way.
Yes, in a good way. Why this weekend?
Sloppy joint.
Nah, not sloppy. I don't know why randomly this weekend she popped up on my Instagram feed. I know I follow her from back in the day. Man, this joint doing OnlyFans now. I'm like, oh my God.
Hey,
I was like,
right. Hey, you should send her a message. See what she on. See what type.
Bruh, I got a little curious. I Google searched that joint and I seen it. I said,
send me your page, man. I'll send her a message.
I ain't sending her no message because it's like
here though, but yeah, for sure. Shout out to her. Send that to the group chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to the group chat. She ain't getting no free promo.
Yeah.
Like y'all said, hoes never get cold.
Never get cold, and they are very resourceful, bro. You know that OnlyFans way, bro, probably made a couple people thousandaires, 6-figure, if not million. Hey, bro, good conversation. Appreciate it. Jay Tizzy said white strip clubs. Yeah. I've only been to one, and I ain't gonna lie to you, it was a mistake.
No, hold on. Before we get in, Dre, have you ever, they opened up a new strip club a couple years ago called Assets.
Oh, we was gonna go there after the playoff
near
game.
Roof Chris, near where like the Roof Chris is, like going up towards
Shorty spilled all that liquor on my shoes, bro.
Yeah.
Nah, so I ain't never been there. I'm a hole in a wall club dude.
Okay, so last quick little story. I ended up fucking with this chick that I met. She was cool, whatever. And then one day she was just like, hey babe, come see me at work. I didn't know where she worked. I just thought it was like a regular bar. So shorty sends me an address. I go up there. Nigga,
she ain't even tell you that. She ain't even tell you that name. She said the A.
That's wild.
Why is this? Why was that joint like a strip club in Grand Theft Auto, bro? Like I'm talking about the worst joints I've ever seen in my life. Dancing in that joint, like they had to be like faking selling drugs, something out of that joint. There's no way they had that premium location in this terrible strip club, dog. I don't know if you ever been to it, Dre. It's literally like right on the corner before you get to like Adams Morgan. Like I don't remember the name of it, but I'm just like, why does DC even have a place like this? Like this is crazy, bro.
What's the genre? I keep forgetting the name of it. What's the genre on Central Avenue, Dre? It's not there no more. They closed
Nah,
it.
that joint was there. Was it Irvin's you talking about?
Irvin's. Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
Irvin's. Yeah,
Irvin's.
yeah.
That's the. I
Irvin's
think
was the shit back in the
that's
day.
the second one I ever went to. The first one I went to was Fuego's. My cousin took me there. I was 18.
I went to
Fuego's?
college with a joint that worked there, bro.
Fuego's crazy. Like,
hey, Fuego's was lit, but I was also like, I would have loved to go back when I was older, but like, it was also
Mustangs. I'm telling y'all, Mustangs was. I mean, he ain't had the best looking girls in there, but they would do a lot of things for a little bit until it got.
Hey Dre, why did you used to go to Hooters back in the day?
Oh man, that was where you get the girls. You know what I'm saying? You go up there, you tip them $50, man. You know what I'm saying? You win the club.
Hey, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the only Maryland joint I ever been to is Fuego's, and I went in there one time and I never went back in there because I felt so bad. Like shorty I grew up with, like she was busting it wide open on the stage when I got in that joint. I was like, "There's no way in hell, like." We grew up together. You here doing this? Nah.
Yeah, my only regret was not going to Fuego's more. When I was because when I got in, they let me slide because it was my birthday. They realized they knew I was 18. I wasn't supposed to be in there, but that's my only regret not going there more.
Sensationals and what is Atlanta Seabrook? Sensationals was also the shit. That was the one back in the day.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Hey, let's get to it, bro. Let's get to it. Appreciate everybody who's in the conversation. You know, everybody laughed along, man. It's been some people who are familiar with Camelot and some other spots we mentioned, Irvin's, J Tizzy. Hey, look, I had a wild story. The last time I went there, I never came back. But yes, and J Tizzy, the Baltimore strip clubs, I hear is better.
I heard as well.
Yeah, I heard, but you know, it is what it is.
Jay Tizzy like a strip club encyclopedia, huh?
Hey, look, he know a couple things. We know a couple things, bro. Information sharing is a
know every locale. You know every single locale.
If you get what I'm saying.
I did go to Normus.
All right, come on. We had people. We can talk. We already 20 minutes in.
This is a dude conversation.
Yeah. Hey, so look, David Blough, Daronte Jones, both of them spoke today, as well as Dan Quinn. I think you learned a lot from Daronte and like his approach. Also, kind of mirrored a little bit of what John Comm said. You know, we spoke to him 2 weeks ago, so like I can't remember everything that Comm said, but just some pop-ups, some flashbacks pop up in my head of comments that he mentioned. And then David Blough obviously spoke, and a lot of it conversed around how he and Jaden will be working moving forward. And Dan Quinn said his thing, his kind of high-level political nature thing. Didn't really get too deep into anything. I do think one thing from Dan, though, he did acknowledge the risk-taking from the coordinator's perspective. Two guys that never did it before, and giving them a chance. He knows that it's a big deal, but also like somebody has to get there. They have to get their start at some point. I want to get y'all the floor and see what y'all think. Let's kind of start with the defensive side of the ball. Let's start with Daronte Jones, and where you all with your first impressions on the new defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great that we actually know who's going to be running the offense and defensive side of the ball, and also who got promoted. Some might have got slight of a demotion, some that won't be returning. But, you know, I like everything about the Daronte Jones hire. I think even Dan Quinn saying how they got into these certain situations, I like that transparency. And it pretty much, you know, validates what I already had been told, that essentially Daronte Jones didn't become like a main focus for Washington until they had that interview with Brian Flores. That's when, you know, he really became on their radar. I honestly believe if Seattle Seahawks didn't make it to the Super Bowl, they probably would have never even got to a Daronte Jones in this interview process. It seems like Carl Scott was that person that they were going to acquire as the DC when Brian Flores was out. Because if you even look at the mixture of candidates, like Jonathan Gannon, Patrick Graham. I'm trying to remember who else. Those guys kind of fall into the same thought process of how like Dan Quinn approaches defenses. The only two different guys were Brian Flores, well, three. Brian Flores, Carl Scott, and now the winner of the job opening, Daronte Jones. Those were the only guys that were different than what Dan Quinn is familiar and what he's accustomed to running. So I definitely feel confident in that. I know what the defense is going to look like. It's more so about the personnel, how he gets the best out of those players. You know, he raved about Frankie Louvu. He talked about certain guys. I love the fact that he said he was providing players with each individual like breakdown of how he viewed them, and providing them like
IEP, I
the
think is what it
IEP,
was.
yeah, a IEP. Letting them know the pros and the cons and things he would like for them to work on. I think that is vital and great information for your coach to be able to provide you as you prepare to get yourself ready for the 2026 season. He also touched on, taking advantage of guys' positives and minimizing, putting them in opportunities of which show their weaknesses. So I was a fan of the presser overall. I'm glad that this is all done. Of course, some guys are no longer a part of this process, like a Sharif Floyd, Ryan Kerrigan, and so on. But it seems as though Ken Norton is still in the mix. Um, Damn, why did I just go blank? What's the D line coach?
Sharif
The new
Floyd.
one. I forgot.
Nah, I mean they brought in. I know they brought in Eric Henderson from USC, but also they kept Daryl Tapp in the mix, gave him a different position title. They moved Wes Welker from the defensive side back to offensive side of the ball. William Gay got his promotion. So it's still a solid group. Uh, Seems like everything is finalized there. And Maul, like you touched on when we had on John Kahn, he gave some of those nuggets. We just didn't know it was going to be confirmed, a couple hours later. Because literally, like right after we did the taping with him, like 2 hours later, we found out that, Kerrigan and some of these guys weren't going to be a part of the mix anymore. And now these guys would still be in the fold and getting elevated. And there could be some additional changes on that front. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a great presser for him. He gets to come back home. He got to meet with the media, and he just pretty much told his story, from being, with a HBCU, Morgan State, and being all these different levels of football and even being homeless at one point, just trying to get his dream accomplished. He told a great story on those things, and I'm just wishing the best for him. And I hope that Adam Peters, Dan Quinn truly let him run his show, but also bring in the assets to make it a productive defense overall.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's hard to win a press conference because I done seen so many of these opening press conferences, and everyone sounds impressive in an opening press conference, but it's not until you see how they go out there and operate, especially in a situation where you are the main guy, you're the guy calling the plays. That's when you get to really see who the person is. But I will say from this press conference, one of my favorite things was he didn't oversell or overpromise anything here. And Scott Abraham actually tried to bait him into one of those kind of tagline type of situations. He wanted him to give him one of those kind of quotables that fans are going to run with and go rah, rah, one of those things where you want to tell fans what they want to hear. And he didn't do that. Like, he didn't take the bait. He just said, when you look at my type of defense, you're going to see joy. You're going to see players out there playing with a passion. He didn't go out there and tell you, we're going to run out there. We're going to be violent. We're going to hit hard. We're going to stop everybody. We're going to be the best defense. No, he didn't do that. And to me, that just says that's a guy that's very self-aware. Like he's aware of what he puts out there into the world. He's also aware that this is not going to be an easy task. Like, he's coming in here to a defense that struggled last year. Like, this defense was one of the bottom 5 defenses in the last 2 years. Actually, when you look at just talent and production, how they perform. So he doesn't want to come in here and oversell that. I'm going to take this defense, I'm going to turn them into this, that, and the third. It's about the work. And one of the things that I like that he kind of preached in this press conference was about teaching. You know, he's big on teaching. He said, I've taught at every level. And he mentions communication a lot and finding out what kind of how to reach certain players, like how players learn, like even what you all mentioned, what is it, the IEPs, what he's done on players. I mean, that just goes to show that this is a dude who has put his homework in. He's thorough in what he does. But the main thing for him is I want to teach and I want these guys to learn. Like no matter how old these dudes are, well, yeah, I'm teaching grown men. These guys are professionals at their level, but there's still a teaching element to this. So I can see why he would impress somebody in an interview, especially being in the systems he's been in, coach with the coaches he's coached with. So, I mean, from that standpoint, I was impressed. I was impressed how prepared he was and how he seemed to kind of have a vision for this roster, even when they kind of asked him to name some of the players that he would, you know, that he could see. I was surprised a little bit. I'm going to be honest that Quan Martin was one of the first names that he brought up, but he said they scouted him in Minnesota. They said, you know, they was trying to figure out if he was a nickel, if he was a corner, or if he was a safety in Minnesota when they scouted him. So,
hey Dre, do you think that's a good thing?
As far as what?
Him bringing up Quan Martin and even their like draft profile of him, like how you're getting into him.
I don't know if that's a good thing. It was just the fact that when they asked him, this specific question was, you know, what did you see in versatility players? Yeah, in the versatilities, because he named Mike Sanders still, he named Jordan McGee, and he brought up Quan Martin. And I didn't know if he was kind of bringing up Quan Martin in the aspect of this is a guy we're going to have going forward, like we see him as a core player. But I mean, he mentioned him by name. So I mean, maybe he does see a vision for Quan Martin. But you hope, I mean, with him that he has a vision that maybe you didn't see with Quan Martin. Like Quan Martin's playing that deep safety. Maybe that's not the role for him. Maybe he sees something different from him. But then again, to your point, AJ, he could be saying this as, I don't know where you can put this type of guy. He doesn't have a particular position, but he was also mentioning that he's into versatility. Like versatility was one of his biggest strengths. He said, if players have versatility, these are guys I can use. Like they asked them specifically about him asking like an Adam Peters, like what type of players would he like to bring into this defense? And versatility was one of those first ones. Of course, he brought up speed and physicality and all of that, but he seems to be really big on guys that can do multiple things. And I like how he talked about guys adapting. You know, he said, I want players to have adaptability. Like maybe these players see a certain role for themselves, but this is the role I see for the player, and I think they can be better at. But that comes back to communication. Can you communicate and get that across to these players? Can they see these roles and these visions that you have for them? So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how he kind of brings that into the system, you know, because obviously, you know, I was wondering how fans was going to kind of take some of the things, because he seemed to like some of the players, but according to our fan base here, we don't have any talent on that side of the ball. But I think he sees something there that he's going to have to work with. And not only that, you're going to have to work with some of these guys. You're not turning over 11 new starters on defense. Some of these guys are going to stay. You're going to have some starters here. You're going to obviously add to that talent. But the key thing for Daronte is, where does he put these guys? Can he put them in a better position to succeed than the last coaching regime did with these players? So that's going to be one of his biggest tasks. And I like that he brought up that I teach, you know, I develop. And that's what this is an important thing, because at the pro level, this is still an important thing. And a lot of fans just talk about talent. Sure, everyone's talented, but can you get something out of that talent? So it'll be interesting to see what Daronte can do.
Yeah. For me, I think, I mean, he speaks really well. And when you mention like the talent aspect, I think it's important because, you know, one of the things that I was looking for in the coordinator defensively is like somebody who understands how to make something work, how to elevate the ceiling of the players that you have. Not necessarily specific to Washington, all of their, because some people may move around, like they may make some changes. Some people may get cut, traded, released, or however you phrase it, or demoted. But what I'm saying, generally speaking, from a coordinator perspective, somebody who can elevate the ceiling of the floor of a player so that they can be functional in that defense, right? And for Daronte, a couple things that relates to me in that conversation, because you all said a lot that I agree with, right? Like, first off, you can't, and I feel like this way with any pressure, you can't really. The only thing that's notable is if, like, super notable, is if you bomb the pressure, right? Like that's big. But he also spoke well, right? It wasn't somebody who wanted to be loud and like command the room with an aggressive tone or like anything of that nature. Like he spoke his way, under control, but also got his points across, right? And to add to what I'm saying, he mentioned like to be able to utilize like people's versatility. When you mentioned your players, Quan, I think he mentioned Will Harris as well and Javon Kinlaw, according to other names. You have to figure out like how they learn, right? And I think from the teacher aspect, it's important because like there's angles of how somebody talks or how a player or a coach talks that we should emphasize, right? And I don't think, I'm not comparing him directly to the last coordinator, but you don't run into many coordinators. There's coordinators out there that, or coaches out there that does this, but you don't run into many who understands like the development aspect. Like you may have your scheme and know how to run your scheme, but the developmental aspect and emphasizing that in your intro presser is something that's really important, right? So how does Daronte connect with some of the players that has been struggling lately, right? Because you got rookies in there, or second year players, excuse me, going into their third year. You're going to have to find a way to make it work for at least a year. So what does that look like for Washington? And what does that look like for Daronte? That's one of his biggest tasks right now. He knows how to build relationships. That's kind of his pedigree, right? But I think from an adaptability standpoint, you're going to have to, like, I think that's kind of the big thing for him and also for his players, building that trust, having these relationships that, one, we have this common ground where, like, from a person to person, I feel you. So now from a coach to player standpoint, I feel like I can roll in with you and I trust your game plan. I trust what you're saying, and I'm buying into how you feel like I should be utilized. Those IEPs are individual educational profiles, I think, or education profiles. Education program. And he's developed one for each defensive player already on how they can improve. So that puts the ball in the player's court. Do they accept this information? Or do they be like, man, I could do this. I don't know what the fuck you talking about. Like, just from an ego standpoint, like it puts the ball in their court to really like humble themselves enough to understand what they're saying and trust them. And you know, time will tell like what that looks like. I don't know. But yeah, for me, just understanding where we are with Daronte and his initial pressure, his ability to communicate and get his points across from that aspect, I think it's good. It's a good start. But it also at least lets us know the phase that he's in, as he becomes like, as he gets his feet under him as a first year coordinator. Like he's in this developmental phase with his players, building those relationships, but he's also done some of the groundwork already since he's been hired. Those IAPs, if you're talking about for each player, and you got to study film for that. Like he knows a good portion of his defense and his players already. So I wonder what this offseason and free agency will look like as we start to maneuver and get some pieces for Daronte.
Well, Mo, you know what I was going to say? You know what was interesting? A name he didn't bring up on defense is kind of a name we've been kind of pondering what happens with him is Daron Payne. I didn't hear him mention Daron Payne's name when he was mentioning Jordan McGee, Javon Kinlaw. You know, you mentioned San Steele Harris and Quan Martin. And it's kind of interesting because you would think of, you know, Daron Payne is going to be a part of this defense going forward. He would be one of the better players on the defense. I mean, it's not a high bar, but he would be one of the better players on the defense. So you would think that name, I mean, it could have just been an oversight, but it just, to me, it was a little interesting that Daron Payne's name didn't come up in the press conference.
I think the reason why it didn't come up is because he's proven what he can do in this league. I mean, Daronte went as deep as mentioning Tyler Owens and Kane Madrano. You know, like just to go back to what Maul's saying, like he went and watched the film. Like he went back to his notes on even these guys in the draft, like their draft profile. And it's extremely frustrating having seen Devin Weatherspoon and how he played Super Bowl Sunday and then realizing he played in the same unit with Aquan Martin. It's like, damn, like football IQ is nowhere remotely close to one another or play style. But yeah, I mean, I just think that at the end of the day, Adam Peters has to also do his end of the bargain and bringing in the right guys to fit with what he wants. I mean, he can know what he wants to do all damn day. But if they don't have the pieces, I mean, he got some pieces to work with from a attribute standpoint, physical, like traits. Like Tyler Owens has traits. Kane Madrano has traits, but you still got some other people that you want to bring into the fold, as we all have discussed privately, some of our wish list of guys to re-sign or bring in free agency. They got a lot of things that they need to do to improve this defense, but hopefully this is not a one and done opportunity for Daronte. They can actually fall through on their plans and open up that checkbook.
Last thing for me, I think is important that DQ emphasized. I want to make sure that I say it right. I think he's giving Daronte basically the keys to the defense in a sense, like it's his system, right? And I think that's a big deal because it is a question about like what Dan Quinn would do, especially if it's not somebody under his tree. Like, is he going to meddle? Is he going to what is he going to do exactly? But I do think it's good for Dan Quinn to acknowledge in the presser that it is his system. Of course, you're not going to bring him over here, a first-time defensive coordinator who clearly does not come from under your tree, and not let him run his own thing, right? So that's a big deal. And he mentioned he's going to be in a multiple scheme. It's not going to be a 3-4 or 43 like base. It is what it is, right? It is what it is in quotations. That's not what he said. This is me like paraphrasing. But like even from the people that he've come to learn, we talk about aggression all the time. I think you'll see aggression. I just don't know what it'll look like. And I like the dichotomy or the distinction that he made between Zimmer and Flores. Like they blitz on, or they're aggressive on in two different situations. One's on third down and one's on Mike Zimmer is on third down and Brian Flores is an off-ball aggressor. Like in terms of like people just standing up and things of that nature. So like there's different ways in how they attack. And it's going to be interesting to see like how Daronte mixes all of the elements that he's come to learn and form into his own. So that's another big deal. Like, go ahead and run your thing, bro. I'm sure Dan Quinn's going to share knowledge, but like, it's good to know that like he's staying out the way and let Daronte run his own ship, especially in a big year for both of them. Honestly, Daronte, like your first impression is going to be everything.
Yeah. And what I was just going to add to that real quickly is that with Dan Quinn truly in a CEO mode, because I do believe when Joe Witt was here, it was a big collaboration effort, obviously, with Dan Quinn in on it. This is his defense that Joe Witt's running. But now when you say you're going to let a Daronte Jones go out there and run his own thing and do his own thing, Dan Quinn's truly a CEO out there on the football field. And with that said, Dan Quinn has to be damn near perfect, in my opinion. And we're evaluating him as a head coach at this point, outside of what he's done personnel-wise, who he's hired for the coaching staff. He has to be damn near perfect when it comes to in-game situations. When we talk about those decisions that's on the head coach, when we're talking about fourth down decisions, clock management, we can't see any trip-ups with that, because at this point, you have coordinators that are pretty much doing their own thing. You're letting them go out there and do their thing. Cool. But at this point, Dan Quinn, I don't want to see any clock mishaps. I want to see you be great with timeouts. I want to see you be great with the personnel management during games. I want to see, if you're a CEO, you may not have a say-so in game planning, but you could say, hey, coach, I think we need to do this here. Maybe we need to defend the run here, or maybe we need to run the ball here on offense, whatsoever. But if you're going to be that CEO coach, we're kind of looking for close to perfection in some of those items that I just listed. So Dan Quinn, that's the stuff I'm going to be looking at with him going forward.
David. I was going to move to David Blough.
Oh, I was just going to say one last thing on Dan Quinn. As I think John Kahn opened up his question portion to Dan Quinn was like, hey, you guys all said that you wanted to have like seasoned guy at the defensive coordinator position. What changed? And I guess he said, he's always open up to change and listening, and just like being in these interviews with these guys, he learned so much more. And, it kind of opened up his eyes to seeing things a little bit differently from a defense standpoint, because it's like the way that maybe he used to focus his defense to be 5 years ago is no longer the same as what it is in 2026. Things keep changing. So I thought that was commendable for having that type of awareness about himself and realizing that, hey, maybe the scheme that I was running was highly successful at a point in time, but you can't just sit back and bend and don't break anymore defensively. You kind of got to dictate things, as we seen the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. They dictated things to whoever was their opponent throughout the playoffs and in the Super Bowl. That's why they ended up winning the chip. You feel me? They dictated how everything was going to go for New England. And New England knew that going into the game. So it's not like they even learned during the game. New England played safe the whole time because they was scared defensively. Like they didn't know what they was going to get or what situation Drake May was going to get put in. And that's how you want your defense to be in today's football. Like you want teams to be frightened of where these pressures and simulated things are coming from.
David Blough, where we at with him? I'll give y'all the floor once again since you was winning. AJ, go ahead. Dre, let's see what you're thinking about with David and his pressure. And my bad. Shout out to the chat. As always, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me know what y'all think about chat. David Blough. I'll read some of y'all comments off as well.
It was kind of hard to get a good read on Blough. This has been the guy who, even when we talked about the hire of Daronte Jones and you talk about David Blough, he was the biggest mystery, obviously, because he's so close to being removed from actually playing in the NFL, and he hasn't been coaching for so long, 2 years or so now. And I feel like we still don't know much about David Blough, and I say that kind of almost in a good way, in a sense, after his press conference, because he looked like a guy that he's well prepared from what I took from it, but he's also, in a sense, he's very serious. Like this, he's a very serious dude. Like he doesn't. Honestly, I was wondering when he was gonna smile. Like I was like, this dude doesn't smile. He doesn't laugh. Like he's just kind of very straightforward. But he had an answer for everything, and he seems like he has a plan. And I do think the rapport with Jaden that he's built for the last 2 years is a good thing. He's kind of talked about that, and Dan Quinn kind of alluded to when he was talking earlier that they're going to see Jaden under center more. And David Blough kind of went more into that and why that would be beneficial to Jaden. And that interests me because obviously David Blough has come from a lot of different systems. He was under Kevin O'Connell. He was with Ben Johnson, and Ben Johnson, at least from this past year, was one of the best I've seen at kind of getting Caleb in those under center situations where you get those bootlegs and those rollouts where Caleb can kind of be dangerous and he can be effective. And you want to see, it's intriguing to see or know if Jaden can kind of, do that same system, or he can be effective with that same kind of system being under center. Like that's what a lot of fans kind of ask for. And this is kind of one of those things that did kind of get answered in this press conference from both David Blough and Dan Quinn, that they will be kind of going to more under center for Jaden and what that means. And, David Blough talked about the challenges for Jaden And as far as the differences from being under center and a guy who's pretty much run pistol and shotgun for most of his career, it's the difference between the drops that you take when you snap. It's 5-7 drops, or the 5-step drops, the 7-step drops. Like, what are you doing here? So that's one of those things they're going to have to get up to speed. But again, it's a good thing that they already kind of have that rapport. So, you want to see what David Blough kind of brings to this team, but it's still going to be a while before we as fans learn what David Blough does, obviously, because he's been through so many systems. He talked about Cliff Kingsbury and how invaluable that experience was for him these last 2 years of picking Cliff's brain, but he has so many other brains that he could pick from. I mean, David Blough has been through so many good coaches. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does. And I think he made a comment in his press conference. He said, we're going to do the key things is we're going to do a lot of the same things differently. And we want to make sure you see these things differently. And we're going to do, it was something along those lines.
Essentially like the same plays, they're just dressed up differently.
Yes, just dressed up differently. So, obviously, you're not going to be running 1,000 plays per game per se, but you're going to go out there. You got to dress certain things up differently because you want to give people different looks. You want to be able to run audibles. You want to be able to run same formations but different plays, and just trick the defense. So it's interesting to see how he comes up with that, especially with his mind. He's a young dude, so I'm sure he's eager to prove himself out there. But I think the other takeaway that I had from him that was pretty interesting was he kind of looked at Bill as a starting running back. Like, when they asked him about personnel and what he thought about the running back room, he said, yeah, Bill is interesting. He showed flashes, and we're excited to see what he is as a starting running back. But he also did mention that they're going to probably make acquisitions at the running back position. So that must mean that they are looking at running back as a key thing that they need to, kind of acquire this offseason, which I agree with. Like, I do hope that, I like Bill. I like the flashes that Bill showed, but I do think you need to add to that position room, and Bill will be a great combo back with someone else. It's a good free agent class. I mean, I know a lot of fans like Jeremiah Love in the draft, so who knows where you go with that. But it was interesting to me that he thought of Bill as a potential starting running back from what he's shown. So, yeah, I mean, we'll learn more, but I still think you don't know as much about David Blough. You won't know as much until you start to see him get out there and actually start calling plays.
Yeah, I mean, I think with David Blough, one thing that he does have under his belt is being in front of the media. When you're a quarterback, from a collegiate standpoint, and also when you do get those opportunities as a backup quarterback to start games, you already are PR trained in a sense. So he didn't really tip his hat on too much information within that presser. But there were some key notables, like you just touched on, Dre. The only running back in the room under contract is Bill. So, yeah, we definitely need to. He also mentioned there probably will be some acquisitions in that room as well. That can mean a multitude of things from free agency to the draft, whatever the case is. But, he really touched on his belief system in the principles of football. He says a lot revolves in playing under center. That's not something that was really done under Cliff Kingsbury much, but it seems as though when Jaden got hurt, they also used some of that free time that they had with Jaden to work on the under center things. He mentioned that as well in his presser. So Jaden was already retooling that aspect of his game during the 2025 season when he was out. And yes, there's gonna be some nuances there, because Jaden kind of lived a lot out of shotgun, even at LSU. I just hope that they allow him to just be challenged. That's my key thing with Jaden. I think he has all the intangibles of being a great quarterback in this league and one of the greats ever. He just needed to be challenged more, and you just weren't going to get that out of the Cliff scheme. So, yeah, there wasn't a lot to take from the Blough process, but over the week, last week with Radio Row, we did get to hear from Jaden Daniels, his mouth in regards of David Blough getting the job and how excited he is for him, the conversations and, the time that they've spent together in the last 2 years as he's kind of led that quarterback room overall. Even Jaden giving his, personal take when being questioned about a possible former ASU player coming into the mix. So, I mean, this offseason moves pretty fast. You know, franchise tag deadline is next week. Right before you know it'll be combine, then it'll be legal tampering, and it'll be a free agency period. So we'll learn a lot more in those signings for both sides of the ball, but especially offensively at O line, tight end. I'm seeing it here. I might have missed the part about Ben Sinnott. I mean, we know what the fuck it is with Ben Sinnott. I don't know. I don't know why y'all keep wasting y'all time on that.
Adam
They
Peters
need
doesn't know.
well, he better get familiar. They need two tight ends. In this offseason, they need to acquire two tight ends.
I talked to
Like that.
somebody today. They said, "Man, I don't think they gave any three of them a chance to be a vertical threat." I ain't even respond back, bro. I think you listen to the
AP said he had
podcast
another
too,
level to
so
get to.
respect to you. But bro, like, come on, man. Like, if you sit here and look at this team and think that any of these guys didn't have an opportunity to show like their downfield receiving skills and route running skills, I ain't got nothing to say. I just don't have anything to say.
Yeah, so it's just like that. That's just where I'm at with it. I mean, solid presser. We all got to understand what the offense is going to look like. Like that. That just is what it is. We just now need to see the players that he's going to be able to utilize within that scheme. And I'm excited to see Jaden under center more. I'm excited to see more play action. I'm just excited to see a different offense and Jaden Daniels being the main person calling the shots.
Yeah, I'm surprised Hogs Haven didn't have this quote in here. Maybe I should just pull it up from the Skins website, but I think it's good that he also shed light on Jaden's role in like picking the offensive coordinator. And I phrase it that way because to say like he didn't have a role in picking the offensive coordinator, it wasn't like on him. And I think that's also good because however which way it truly unfolded behind closed doors in terms of how Blough got it, in terms of like the politicking. Like, did they want somebody else and did they not want Blough to leave? However that went down, they trusted Blough. And I think from the conversations that Blough, I mean, honestly, it's not even Blough's fault. Like, he got 1,000 questions related to Cliff Kingsbury and Jaden Daniels, which, you can't control that. You getting asked the questions. But I think he like played it like even kill. And obviously like there's no negative thing to say about Jaden. He knows that his superpower is his legs, his mobility. And I think just acknowledging everything you all said was also going to help him. That I think is something we haven't seen in 2 years is just how like under center changes his effectiveness as a runner or a run threat, right? Not necessarily say he's going to run, but as a run threat, it just puts a different level of stress on the defense and also creates opportunities for explosiveness like elsewhere, whichever running back or tight end they can get, or even like you think about bootlegs or play actions and you get your shallow crosses or your over routes over the middle. Like that hits the intermediate level, right? That second level. So I don't know how it's going to look like under Blough, but I think for him and his lessons and that he's learned from Cliff, you just hope that everything clicks. He was definitely, when asked about like his opportunity and the opportunity he's gotten to be offensive coordinator, he mentioned that, these opportunities eventually presents itself. And, you just got to ask yourself, am I prepared for this? And, right now, we can't tell yet, but similar to what we see with Daronte, you just got to make sure that you insulate Blough with as much talent that you can acquire this offseason. And that does help Jaden. Because this is like to protect your coordinators, speaking about Dan Quinn, to protect your coordinators, you got to make sure that you're not throwing them in the fire with like no resources or no tools to work with. Like, get them what they need or enough of what they need so we can make sure that we keep supplementing them in the following years. So I agree with y'all. Essentially, he ain't say too much.
Yeah,
he ain't say too much.
Yeah. I mean, do we know Brian Johnson is staying on is still on the staff?
I don't know if they confirmed it. I wish they would have asked them that because
I feel like a lot of questions were not asked in this presser. Like, I think I wanted to even learn why was the defensive search so extensive, but the offensive search wasn't. Like, I mean, yes, Dan Quinn alluded to the fact that, you know, you learn from your past, like maybe some mistakes that you made. We all know where he's getting at from the before
I think they
to Mike McDaniel.
I think they knew from early on that even I don't know how long this Cliff conversation went on as far as we're going to move on from Cliff at the end of the season. But I think they knew once they were getting rid of Cliff that David Blough was going to be the guy because that search didn't take long at all.
That's where it's like for me, it's like was maybe this Cliff thing always a 2-year deal? That's what it really boils down to because it's like Blough's already working with Jaden in certain cases of whatever the case is. That's why they even felt comfortable bringing Blough in to coach, you know. So I just didn't get a question asked like, why was the defensive search so extensive, but yet the offensive search was a couple internal guys and Lunda Wells and what's the other dude from Arizona? I can't even remember his name at this point, but it was just it's the offensive guy. He was black. Yeah, Drew Terrell.
Oh yeah,
why was it just those guys and nobody else? Like we really, Dan Quinn was up there for 30 minutes, bro. Like that was never asked. Cause it's still like what really sold you that much on Blough to give him this opportunity, you know, knowing the situation. But I mean, all in all, they did what they did. You feel me? Jaden Daniels is excited about the opportunity, and rightfully so. He should be able to call his own shots. I mean, if you got Josh Allen sitting in interviews for head coach opportunities, you know, why not let? We all know what it is with Jaden Daniels. He's the real damn deal. He should have some say so in what's going on offensively. Oh, I'm struggling. But it's like it is what it is. I just hope that they continue to get his input because what we seen Jaden Daniels doing his last year at LSU offensively, Washington has not done remotely close to any of that. And a lot of the reason is the lack of weapons at the running back position and wide receiver position. You know, Jaden played with Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., Kyron Lacey, Chris Hilton. Like he played with all those guys at wide receiver. And
he brought him up in the press conference. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
David Johnson. I mean, sorry, not Brian Johnson. My bad.
I missed that part. I didn't see the whole thing.
But here, you know, I'm seeing fans. Oh, I don't want this person. I don't want that. You want more Robbie Chosen? You want Rivercraft? You want more Chris Moore? Like, do you want more Noah Brown? I don't know. They just need to add a whole bunch of talent as wide receivers to the mix that go alongside the draft picks because Luke and Lane ain't going nowhere from that standpoint just because you don't want to give up on your picks. But at the end of the day, they can't do anything to bring to the table. So it's gonna be interesting, man. I'm more so excited for free agency.
Well, I mean, we get that in March. But AJ, to your point, I don't think it was a 2-year deal with Cliff. I think it was a 3-year deal. I think things happened this past offseason. Well, not this past offseason, but this past season that something happened friction-wise between Dan Quinn, the offense, Adam Peters, maybe even into the Cliff Kingsbury situation. I don't think their plan was to just get rid of Cliff after 2 years or he go his own way after 2 years. But I do think that they learned something about David Blough, not this year, but last year, because I heard David Blough's name mentioned last year as a guy that you don't want to let leave the building. I heard that last year before this season even started, whatever happened this season. And I think once that friction started happening with Cliff, whatever that friction was, and whenever that friction started, they were like, David Blough is going to probably be his replacement. And I remember saying after the season that the offensive coordinator position had to be a quick hire. And it had to be a quick hire because I'm like, Cliff Kingsbury wasn't bad. You got rid of Cliff Kingsbury because of philosophical differences or whatever the case may be. It wasn't because you thought he was a bad offensive coordinator or that he was a bad offensive coordinator in general. It was because you wanted to go a different way, like fundamentally with your offense. And I'm like, if you're going to do that with a guy like Cliff that you know is a pretty good offensive coordinator, then you better have a plan in place pretty quickly to replace him, because this was, as we've seen, an extensive coaching searching firm. Like the market for coaches, so many different coaches got fired, so many different coaches got hired this offseason, to the point where the competition was going to be steep, that you couldn't go out there and just fire a guy that you knew was productive without a plan in place, because you were going to be competing with a lot of teams for an offensive coordinator. So how quickly they moved to David Blough. I know we talked a lot about Mike McDaniel from Miami and all of that. How quickly they moved to David Blough told me that plan had been in place for a while, that if Cliff was going to leave, this is who we're going to hire. So I think they believe a lot in David Blough, and I think that this was a plan that was kind of in the works for a while.
Hey, man, there it is. Let's see what the chat is saying. Rob said Blough was credited. Yeah. They said that. Blough was credited for that TD against Philly in 24 that won the game. Jay Tizzy said DQ knew for a while he was getting Cliff out the paint. They showed Blough more than Cliff. That must be Hard Knocks. Oh, yeah, he is talking about Hard Knocks. He said, y'all notice on Hard Knocks, they never showed. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. As much as I told y'all I liked Hard Knocks, bro, and I thought in-season Hard Knocks was entertaining, bro, I watched like 2 episodes the whole season.
It was ass. Just like Ben Sinnett, just like Quan Martin. Ass.
Yeah,
that Hard Knocks was terrible, bro.
I didn't go.
We ain't learned nothing from no team, bro. Like, it was terrible.
And y'all are Hard Knocks dudes, which is wild. I don't really watch Hard Knocks like that. I just watched because we were on it this time, and y'all was like, I ain't even watch it this time.
Man, I love Hard Knocks, but it was like there was no information given. Like there was no real access. Like it was just us watching like YouTube shorts. Like it was no like if you're gonna do a Hard Knocks, that's why that's one thing I hate about the NFL. They don't give enough access to the fans of content. Like NBA will provide so much different content on stuff. It's like, even look at the Super Bowl. You're hearing about like how Julian Love is like telling his teammates about the tells in New England's game plan offensively, and Drake May. Like, you only get those things on Super Bowl, but any time during the season, you don't get none of that information. You don't get any of that access, and it sucks.
It does, man. I think they're super protective about like shit that people see during the regular season, but you know.
But that's whack though. It's
I'm agreeing. I'm saying like they probably, it's just like you ain't like if for all of that, like it's the reason why they have a hard time finding teams to do shit, because they don't want to. It's just so much, bro. It's so much politics, man. But you know, people love the content. But so look, we're gonna try to stay on guy that you was trying to get on the show. I'm try to make something work this week. I'm off Friday. If not, we can still try to get him on. Maybe spin the block next week or something like that. I don't know. Maybe, but too much time.
We also off Monday too.
I forgot. Week. Yeah, we are off Monday. So yeah, let's shoot for
I'm
Monday.
off next Friday as well. But
what holiday is Monday?
That's
President's Day or some shit.
President's Day. Yeah, President's Day. Yeah.
All
right. Hey, that's gonna wrap it up for us today.
That's a federal holiday?
Yeah,
it's a federal holiday.
Yeah, federal holiday. Thank God. And we still got MLK Day, and we still got Juneteenth for now.
But
that's gonna wrap it up for us. All 32 is back tomorrow. With the day ones. Y'all take it easy. Be safe. We may be back for an interview this week. Not too sure. We may spend 14 minutes talking about a strip club and 1 minute interviewing interviewing guy. You know, unless he want to join the strip club conversation too, then we gonna. You know what I'm saying?
If we do strip club talk again, Jay Tyler got to come on because he got way too much knowledge.
Yeah, he got the encyclopedia. He got the green book. He got the green book of strip club, bro.
Yeah, all I know is Stadium. What's the one place you mentioned in Maryland?
Those are commercial joints. Those are commercial strip clubs.
But
Stadium was different. Like
Stadium was still commercial to me.
Hey, let me show you a little video I had. But
Stadium different. Hey. I've had some like private nights at Stadium. Matter of fact, one year at Stadium, I watched the Warriors versus the Cavaliers in the finals with Allen Iverson. Like we watched like 2 or 3 games at Stadium that week. Like that was a moment I'll never forget. I'm surrounded by ass and I'm with my idol. And we watching the finals together.
Any strip club you can eat that you look forward to eating at, which I did at Stadium. I look forward to
the wings is banging.
Food. Those are strip clubs that's too commercial for me. If I won't eat at a place, that's the type of strip club I want to be at because that's the place they're doing the most at.
Well, see, I'm just trying to make it back home safely, dog. Like, I will say my greatest moment in strip club.
And Coke, bro, I don't care what happens, bro.
Man, my greatest moment in strip club history. I seen Malaya, Michelle perform at Stadium.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Malaya Michelle is?
Yeah,
I know, Jay, you know.
Yeah, I know who she
Bruh.
is. She was a vixen for a little
Bruh.
bit. Yeah, she was nice.
Man, she was so seductive, dog. She ain't even get naked, bro. But I must have threw a couple thousand that night, bro. Like she's so seductive, bro. That
you heard the millionaire, right? Bro said a couple thousand. Yeah.
Bruh, I was lost. I was lost that night. You feel me?
Man, AJ just said, "Where the camera at?"
Stadium was a great time, man. Stadium was a great time.
All right, hey, I gotta go, man. I gotta go. We can talk about this all day. I got the next show, bro. Hey, like I said, we out of here. Strip Club Chronicles next show for sure. Jay Tizzy said he the strip club expert. We're gonna make sure we
gonna do a new segment. You know ball.
Yeah, you know ball. I like that.
You know ball. It's gonna be about different places in the DMV area or even travel experiences real quick. Cause it seemed like Jay Tyler know ball, and we ain't talking football.
Look at
so we need to hear some of these stories.
Look at that.
Jay Tyler know ball.
You know.
All right. Look at that man said from the late 90s to the 10s. You a damn lie. You've been outside since the 70s, bro. All right, we out of here. Y'all take it easy.
Chop it down, chop it down, chop it down, you gon' chop it down. Chop it down, you gon' chop it down. Down, set, watch him throw the ball, we gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through 4th and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Dive.